What's up, schmucks? I'm promising to review every movie I see in 2024, so let's talk about B-Boy. B-Guy is the latest Jason Statham action flick, directed by the man behind Oscar-winning film Suicide Squad, David Ayer. The movie tells the story of B-Man, who likes bees, but when his elderly friend gets scammed out of $2 million, she takes her own life, and B-Dude decides to become a vigilante and get revenge for this injustice. And what follows is a bland action movie that is not worth the trip to the theater. So let's get into it. As always, I'm going to start with the good and what I liked, and then I will do the bad and what I didn't like. So what's good here? Jason Statham. He's great. He always is. He's an action movie darling for a reason. He commands the screen here as good as he always has. He's gruff and tough, and he delivers all his one-liners and his quips with a stoicness and a charm that you've come to expect from him. He also still sells all of his action scenes really well. He's no Keanu Reeves or Tom Cruise or anything, and these fights are choppy as hell, but I still buy him as this tough guy super killer. It's not like he doesn't fit the role is what I'm trying to say. And that's another thing that I kinda liked. The fights are somewhat entertaining, but that's also gonna segue us into the bad. The fights are somewhat entertaining. Your horror movie needs to be scary, your comedy needs to be comedic, and your action flick needs to have good action. This movie's action is fine. There's a few moments where a certain kill is cool or a move Statham does stands out, but I'm not going to remember these fights. This movie's action is not worth the price of admission. And when you're selling an action movie, that's kind of important. I'm also really sick of Statham and The Rock and Vin, alleged sex pest Diesel, having the most insane plot armor known to film. Statham just walks into rooms of heavily armed guards in this movie, and he doesn't so much as get dust on him. There are no stakes in these fights because he's playing on easy mode with an infinite health mod. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there was a report some years ago about actors like Statham, Diesel, and others having it in their contracts that they can't lose fights, and there needs to be adequate percentages of damage dealt to their characters. And this movie absolutely adds credibility to that report, which is straight up just boring as hell. The thing that makes characters like John Wick, Batman, and Indiana Jones interesting is that they aren't invincible. They can take damage, often a lot of it, but they always get up and continue to fight. They inspire the audience with their grit. It adds tension and creates suspense. But when your character can defeat anyone with minimal effort, where's the intrigue? I sit back and my eyelids get heavy. I have no reason to care about this fight because I know how it's gonna end. It hurts the movie. It hurts all of these guys' movies, but anything to boost a millionaire's ego. This movie is also the most derivative and unoriginal action movie in like a solid 8 years. Get this, stop me if you've heard it before. The B-Man is a ghost. He has no record, and he basically doesn't exist. Congratulations, you're Jack Reacher. Oh, but he's also a super assassin, trained in varying forms of combat that makes him truly a force to be reckoned with. Congratulations, you're Jason Bourne. And he was also part of a super secret task force centered with the sole purpose of protecting the free world. Congratulations, you were in the IMF. And characters even say that if he sets his eyes on you, then you're as good as dead and there's nothing you can do. Congratulations, that's John Wick. The movie also doesn't elevate any of these ideas either. It just throws them into a bowl, barely mixes them up, and then pours them onto a plate, delivering quite the unpleasant slop. Like they call him the beekeeper, but he has no bee things. Where are his bee gadgets? Where are his bee skills? Anything like that. Give him like little knives called stingers or something. Fucking give him Ant-Man powers. I don't care. Just do something interesting, goddammit. I'm adding this in post. But the movie establishes the beekeepers as this shadowy organization that keeps the world in order. And it's established that this entity has been around forever, right? So why not just make that? It doesn't have to be a one-man action movie. You could make a movie about the beekeepers, this team of people doing like secret ops around the world kind of thing. I mean, it's David Ayer. He could have used this opportunity to make like a fucking Suicide Squad movie. He could have redeemed himself. It might not have superpowers or anything. You could just make the beekeepers, plural, and that could be like a Suicide Squad where everyone dies or almost everyone dies, you know? This could have been something. There's seeds here and they just didn't fucking grow anything with them, and I just find that to be incredibly disappointing. We should also talk about the story. It's not very good. The core plot subplot is about revenge, and I found it to be kinda meh. There came a point where I forgot why he was even doing what he was doing. They also don't really build the relationship he had with the woman before she died, so you have no real reason to give a shit about his quest. We don't know why we should care, and thus we don't care. There's also a subplot about these two FBI agents tracking Statham down and trying to stop him from killing more people, but this was never interesting or entertaining, and I could feel the pacing grinding to an aggressive halt every time they showed up. Josh Hutcherson plays the main villain here, who's just a spoiled rich kid running a scamming company, and he's clearly having fun with the role, but his character is just evil rich person. And look, I hate capitalists more than literally anybody, but this wasn't enough for me to be invested. He doesn't have a thing. He has no quirks or interesting characteristics. He's just a prick and rich and young. That's it. And you've seen that before, and you've seen it done much better. Jeremy Irons is also in this for some reason, but he doesn't need to be. His character could and should just be folded into Josh Hutcherson's character. Jeremy Irons' role in this is to hire mercenaries to kill Statham and tell Josh Hutcherson that he sucks every 15 minutes. And that's all he does. It is the only role he fulfills. And then, and I guess this is a spoiler, but the movie resolves his character by him just fucking off. An absolute waste of Jeremy Irons and a waste of time altogether. They should have just had Hutcherson's character do what he did, and it would have been fine. You also probably could have saved a couple million off the budget. Overall, Jason Statham movie number 56 was a big ol' waste of my time. Statham is fun, and some of his action beats are too, but the action lacks tension and intrigue because of how remarkably invulnerable he is. The supporting cast are given nothing to truly work with, and thus suffer as their subplots are reduced to yapping about bees and how awesome Jason Statham is. I would skip this one, or wait for streaming if you do want to see it, but I believe that decision would be best left up to you. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like, and drop a dislike if you didn't. If you want to hear my stupid voice again yapping about movies, then subscribe and check back soon, because I'm going to be reviewing a ton of shit this year. In the meantime though, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you later. Bye!